Hey guys, it's David with another Blender video. Today we're going to learn how to use a bow and arrow in the Blender game engine. This was requested by Tinak 007777. So please enjoy. It's going to look something like this when we're done. So I filled it around for a day or so, and this is what I got. So if you press play, hit the right mouse button, it will pull the bow back, and then the left mouse button will fire it, and then it'll stick to the target. And then I just added some movement on the bow so I can get a little closer, reload another shot, and left, and it'll stick to the target like that. So that's what we're going to work on today. So what you're going to make before this is it's just, right now all I have is an arrow and a bow, and they are named arrow and bow. And I have parented the arrow to the bow so that wherever the bow goes, the arrow will go to. So what you're going to want to do is take the arrow, press Shift D to make a duplicate, Alt P to clear the parent, and we're going to name this ammo, and move this to layer 2. We're going to come back to it later. So first we need to rig the bow so that it flexes and moves. So add armature, go to the objects and do X-ray so we can see it. Just adding stuff way over there. Right. Top view. I like to use 2 windows just because. Alright, make sure it's centered in there. And I have X-ray on the bow for some reason. Make sure you do not have that. Alright, so go to edit mode, and we're going to select the top part and extrude it up. Get it in there. Same with the bottom. Now you could do more bones and more vertices on the bow to make it look it'll look better when you flex it and stuff, but just for this I'm only going to use 2 to save time. And then stay in edit mode, and we're going to add another bone over here. Make sure it's not connected to anything, and we're going to put it pretty close to the string. A special thing about the string is that there's you need subdivide it so that you have vertices halfway, because that's where it's going to bend when you move it. So you need vertices there so it'll move there, and get the bone pretty close to that. Okay, so now select the bow first, Shift right click on the armature, Control P to make a parent, and select armature, and then create from bone heap. Now wherever this goes, or the armature goes, everything will come with it. So go to pose mode and test everything. It's 99% chance it's not going to turn out right. Mine didn't turn out right. This one did. And then move this, and it'll move the string with it, but it's not connected, but we will fix that. So let's check here. Make sure you're in pose mode, select the bone, and then right click, don't shift or anything, just right click the bow, and we'll go to weight paint. Make sure this bone is selected, and we only want the middle vertices that I showed earlier. So press N to bring up the properties, select subtract, and we'll get rid of the ones up here. Make sure it's all blue, no red. Alright, and check the bottom. Looks like it got none of it, but I'm going to check just in case. Bones can be very tricky and annoying and frustrating, so make sure everything's correct. Now here, we only want the top, so we're going to get rid of this. And this. Okay. And we also want the top of the string so that when it bends, it'll move the string with it. So select all that. All that. Now for the bottom bone. Sub, we don't want any of that. None of this. And all of that. Looks like it got it all. Alright, so now time to test it. Back to object mode, we're in pose mode. So now if we move this bone, it will flex the string. So that already looks pretty good. And then if we move this on the y-axis, it will also move the bow. And looks like we got everything to work. Oh, no we didn't. The top's moving up there. So back to weight paint. Select this bottom bone, and if we look up here, it looks like it for some reason got that top vertice. So if we do subtract, now that's all gone. Probably won't be able to see that, but it was there. So now when we move this, yeah, now we still got some of the string. Back to weight paint. Back to the bottom one. And yep, there's another chunk there. Alright. Okay. One more time. This all works. This all works. And this all works. So we are good so far. So now we're going to animate it. So if we go over to the action editor, go to pose mode on the bones, select all of them, and we're going to do add new, ignore all those. I for location and rotation. And I'm going to do 10 frames. So we're going to move this this bone over to around here. I location. So now we have this animation of the string getting pulled back. But to make it more realistic, we need to have this bend with it. So make sure we're on frame 10. And we will rotate. Keep an eye on the degrees. I'm going to rotate it 15 degrees. I, rotation. Same with the bottom one. Negative 15. I, rotation. Okay. So now we have this animation of the bow flexing and getting pulled back. And I'm going to name this action flex. Flex. Save real quick. Always save. So now let's do some logic. Select the armature. Add. We're going to do, this can be whatever you want. I'm going to do right click on the mouse. Mouse. Right button. Connect them all. Ball to Cheerio. And we're going to do action. The name of the action is flex. And it is frames 1 to 10. Come on. Okay. 10. So save that. Give it a try. Right click. And nothing happens. 10.
It's 3 o'clock.
What did I do wrong? Right mouse button. Okay, don't press continue. Make sure that's unchecked. So now when we push it, it will go back. Actually, I think we will want continue. I got this new recorder and it's really slowing down everything, so forgive me. Okay, so that's working. Next we need to animate the arrow. So select the armature and the arrow so we can use the same right button action. IPO, and it's going to be 1 through 10. I haven't animated yet, so come on. Okay. So we're going to select this. We're on frame 1, I, location, and then to 10. We're going to move it back. And do I, location. So now we have this animation. And if we play it, it will bring the arrow back with it. Yep, looks pretty good. Next we're going to have it fire. So remember the arrow we made earlier in the second layer? We're going to make an actor dynamic, give it bounds, and we'll come back to it later. Add an empty. This is where it's going to produce the arrow. Go to frame 10 and find your center. So right here where the white circle is, that's where we want this to be. It'll replace the arrow right when we fire it, and we're going to make this arrow invisible, giving the illusion that it's being fired. Alright, that's pretty good. So now, go to the armature. I'm going to say left click on the mouse. And then go to the empty and add an edit object. Add object, and we called it ammo. Yeah. Ammo. And I'm gonna guess -30 on the negative x axis. Such a pain. There we go. Right click. Super laggy. Okay. Left click. And it adds the arrow. You can see it kind of bouncing around in there. There, it just fell. So we need to make this. I need to get a new recording thing. We're gonna make it a ghost. And we're gonna make the bow a ghost. Give that a try. There, and it just shot. But now it looks like there's two arrows, so we need to fix that. Go to the first arrow, add, and select visibility. Unclick this so that it'll turn invisible when the left mouse button is fired or pressed. Okay. So now, whoosh, it fires. But now we need to animate the bow so that it looks like it's snapping back. So go back to that action. And we're going to frame 10. Looks like I added another frame accidentally. Delete that. Okay. So now we want it to go back to the way it was. So a quick way to do this is to take the initial frames, IPOs, and Shift D to duplicate, and I'm gonna have it 2 frames after, so frame 12. So if we run that through, it will play, and then it does not fire back. Okay. Oh, we're in pullback. I need a flex. Okay, okay. Those were previous ones from earlier. Trying to get this to work. I just deleted all the logic and started over. So now it'll shoot back. So it pulls, and then here it releases. So now we need to go back to the armature. Left mouse button, add another one to the armature. Action. Same flex, except now we're going to do 10 to 12. Okay. And drag this on over to left mouse button. So now we will shoot it, and it fires almost all the way. Oh, I think I went to 13. Yep, I'm on 13. Move it over one. Okay. Aim and fire. So there we go. That's basically how to do it. Try to see what this looks like. Load up another one. Oh yeah, one more thing we have to do. We need to make that first one, we have to make it visible again when we press the right button. So add another one on arrow. If I can get the dumb thing to scroll up. Okay. And we're going to do visibility. And visible. Right mouse button to here. Okay. I'm gonna have to make a second part because this is taking too long, and I'll probably improve the speed by then. Yep, so now we can keep shooting. Okay, so stay tuned for part 2.